Alright guys, how are y'all doing today? Last week I showed you how to make a Dacron loop splice so that all your backing has a loop and you can switch over to your fly line. A lot of fly lines nowadays actually come with a welded in loop. Most of mine I actually cut them off and I make my own loop, and so that's what I want to show you today is how to do that. So basically what you're going to need is you're going to need your Tie-Fast tool. Everybody's probably familiar with one of these. And a little bit of monofilament, or in my case here, I've actually got some Seaguar fluorocarbon. This one happens to be 20 pounds. And so I'm going to go ahead and set everything up like you tie your regular nail knot. And I'm going to start off by placing the fluorocarbon in this situation down through the tool, and I'm going to go through that little groove that's on the bottom so that that line comes through. Go ahead and give yourself plenty of tag to work with. Once I get through there, I'm going to go ahead and make my wraps. And I like somewhere between 5 and 7 wraps around the tool. And I'm not pulling them really tight to the tool, but what I am doing is I am laying them real tight against one another. Once you get all those wraps, I like to hold it in place with my index finger, and then I'm going to slide the tag in underneath all of those wraps and pull the slack out. So you can see where I pulled the slack out there. So now at which point I'm going to go ahead and take my fly line. This one happens to be a Scientific Angler 12 weight intermediate line. Tarpon season's around the corner, so I want to be able to go fish tarpon, and I want a really nice loop on the end. So I'm going to slide it from the front of the tool underneath all those wraps, and then once I get underneath those, I'm going to go ahead and pull some line through, and now I'm going to go ahead and reverse it and go back through where I just came from, leaving myself a nice loop. So this line's extra heavy, but you can see where I've created my loop there. And again, I'm going to go ahead and just slide all this off with my index finger, just like that, by pinching it. And I'm going to make sure that line actually slipped out there. Go ahead and slide it back through all those. And once I get them through, I'm going to adjust all my loops, and I'm going to cinch them down nice and tight. So you can see there where I start to cinch that down. Now, of course, right before I get it all the way down, I can kind of adjust the loop I've got here on the end. I don't want a really big one. I want it to be able to zip through those guides. And just go ahead and secure it. I like to go ahead and take the tag in there, wrap around the tool a couple times, gives me a little bit extra grip, grab by the loop, and now I can pull and make sure I secure it down really, really well. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. And then I can go ahead and trim off the other side as well. So now I just have that nail knot on there. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and place that Tie-Fast right over the top of that tool. I'm going to go ahead and pull from the line to make sure it's nice and straight. Once I know it's straight, I'm going to go ahead and trim off the fly line. I want to get a little bit of an angle on there. And what that's going to do is that's going to help to make that line pass through there nice and easy. So I'm going to do this one more time, but it works this time a little bit better if you go ahead and lay the loop. I pinch it down flat, and I lay it down inside the groove of that Tie-Fast. So now I'll go ahead and take the fluorocarbon. So I'm just going to repeat that same step that I did before. Now I want to hold it down in there. You're going to make your wraps, and again, 5 to 7 wraps on there. And then go ahead and take that slack tag end and go underneath all those wraps. So now it comes out the tail end. You can kind of see there where I've got all my wraps and I've got the tag end coming out, and you can see where the loop is tucked inside. Once I do that, again, pinch that line there and go ahead and pull everything off. So you can kind of see where my loops are on there, and I want to get it about 1/4 of an inch away from where the other one is already secured. Make sure that your lines are laying down nice and parallel, and then go ahead and give it a nice quick tug. Secure it in place. Again, I'm going to go ahead and take the tag end, wrap around the tool a couple times, and that'll give me a little bit something to pull with so I can secure that line down. And then I can do the same thing from the other side. And now I've got a really nice loop that lays down. You can see it's secured on there twice. Makes for a really, really bulletproof loop. Go ahead and trim off. Now, if you would like, you can definitely add a couple drops of Zap-A-Gap on there, but the way I've got it tied, it's already nice and secured. It bites and it holds onto that fly line really well. It's a low-profile loop. It'll actually go through the guides very easily, and it gives you that nice loop connection. This is a little bit stronger than a welded-in loop. If you've seen one of those before, you'll notice that this material on the end is a little bit thinner than the rest of it, but this way you have a nice, even consistency whenever you're pulling on it, and you could actually pick up a 10-pound dumbbell with that type of loop right there. Guys, I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Join us again next week for another tip and techniques. Thank you very much.